Hello, everybody. Welcome to your internet friends. This is episode I think it might be 28, 29. Unfortunately, my two co-hosts can't be here because one of them's off celebrating Hanukkah, fucking Jewish, and the other one apparently does not like to answer phone calls. Wait, more on that later. Okay. Anyways, we are here with some very special guests, and Taffy's here too. He just decided to tag along. Yeah, so Taffy decided to tag along. Alright, so why doesn't everybody introduce themselves and I'll go over what we're doing today?
Should I go first?
Go ahead.
Doesn't matter.
I will go first. I am Crazy Renee, or Crazy Renee Proxy, according to IMDb, depending on the day. I basically do YouTube and work in horror, I guess.
Yes, and I am Darven from my own Draven's Crypt, and I also talk about horror people on the internet / anything that's kind of funny related or something that I can get a chuckle out of, or hopefully everyone else can get a chuckle out of.
And I'm Bran, Bloody Breakdown, the Geek Room. I'm the bald one on the Geek Room.
Hello, Bran.
Hi, how goes it?
I mean, it'll be better once you tell me your dealer's name. I'll get that out of you eventually.
I don't even know his real name.
Pineapple Express.
Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is, and I know this is late, Halloween's already passed, but fuck you, whoever's listening to this in the future.
Yeah, we were stolen that Halloween.
I wasn't, I was working. So we're going to be doing horror movies. First, actually two separate sections here. We're going to do our favorite horror franchise and our favorite horror movie itself. They can be either one. Taffy, quit fucking messaging me.
I only messaged you once. I asked you what we're on about because I thought it was something else, and I just picked up it.
No. That's going to be next week.
Okay, I see. Okay, carry on.
Yeah. So Ben, I know you're going to be watching this later. Just edit that out, please. All right. This is why we do it pre-recorded, people. We fuck up a lot.
Aw, it's
No
charming.
props.
Okay, yeah. So back to what I was saying. Ben, cut in right here in 3 and 2 and 1. Okay, yeah. So everybody has their own horror franchise and their own horror movie. Bran, I know that you have to go in a little bit, so why don't we hit you up first?
Yeah, sure. So, any particular order we doing this in as far as...
It doesn't matter. You can do the franchise first, or you can do the fucking movie first.
Okay, so I'm a slasher guy. Like, that's my subgenre all day, every day. So I'm gonna have to draw the franchise and the single, my favorite, both from that subgenre. So there's like a 50-50 chance that I'm either going to get hate or people are really going to love the franchise that I have to say, because I've noticed that people are very on the fence about it. But I do have my reasons. So favorite franchise has to go to Scream. And the reason I say that is because no other franchise, especially like slasher, horror, no other franchise are you going to see a coherent storyline with the same, not only characters, but the same actors and actresses portraying these characters over the span of now 24 years.
I can respect that. I really do love the Scream series. I don't know if they're going to be making them as high quality as they were now that Wes Craven's passed along, but you never know.
I mean, we got the Radio Silence guys. I don't know if anyone's familiar with their work, but like Ready or Not was a really big hit of theirs. And like looking at kind of how it is, it's definitely a horror film, but it's very, it comes with the comedy too, but it never takes away from the horror. I can kind of see them putting together a good Scream film for what they are.
When is that set to release, do you know?
January 2022.
Wow, long ways.
Yeah, not that long.
Thanks, COVID.
Yeah. But I agree, Bran. That is a good series. I am a fan. I do have a Scream, actually a ghost, right, Renee? Like behind me. It's like a little doll of the Scream ghost. I did like the first, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And you're right. The first couple, even having with Nev Campbell in it and the Arquette guy and his wife, David Arquette, and it was fun, and it did throw me for a loop. I thought, all right, this show or this movie, this series is going one way, and then Nightmare, are we allowed to talk spoilers here, or how far can we go? Or it's
absolutely. It's 24 years old. I'm if
all right.
You haven't seen it now.
Well, to find out that
24 years old today.
Okay, you thought it was
happy anniversary.
Yeah, you thought it was the boyfriend, and then you found out. Nev Campbell's mom was Sydney's mom was a whore, and she fucked everyone because she thought she was Sharon Stone or whatever. And then you find out that she actually had a brother, and he's in Hollywood. Whoa, and all this stuff. And and that was kind of okay, this is kind of interesting. I mean, right? I'm pretty right on that, Bran, right? She had a brother, and the brother came in.
I know. Well, one of the funniest things I find actually about this movie is that they hired Drew Barrymore, and you immediately get the sense of, okay, she's going to be the final girl. She's going to be the final girl.
Yeah, they
did that.
Kill her in 5 minutes.
Intentionally.
Yeah, they sold the film as her being the star. Pretty much swerved everyone in the first 5 or 10 minutes, and I understand people's I'm talking about this as a franchise as a whole, so kind of breaking it down, I can understand people's frustration with maybe 3 and 4 because I think both of those films have their own issues, but especially looking at definitely the first one, and I'll even say the second one. I think it's one of the best sequels to a slasher franchise ever.
Oh yeah, when they're in college, right?
Yeah, the first two are just bang up job. I have no complaints.
Bran, you actually did a video recently on your Bloody Breakdown channel about Scream 3 theory, didn't you? In fact, the theory of 2 killers.
I did. When they originally shot the movie, it was shot with the intention of there being 2 killers. The script has it, the original anyway, and they didn't go back and reshoot a lot of things. They didn't go back and take out things that would suggest there were 2, which is, it always stood out to me as kind of strange because Wes Craven is kind of, he was kind of specific about those movies in a way where, for example, if you go back and you watch the first one, I can tell you in any scene which character, Billy or Stu, was supposed to be behind the mask at that point.
Oh, really?
Most definitely. When Ghostface goes over his head with 2 hands for the stab, it's Stu. If he chokes or does a 1-hand stab, it's Billy. These things were done intentionally, and they show you through the movie. Even in the second one, as far as going to show when one of the killers is in the scene, he's left-handed. Just small things like that they do. So those things were left in the third one, and I think that it's kind of meant to be there. There was somebody else here, and they were never revealed on screen. That's always been my headcanon.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. This is just fascinating to me. I've been watching all of them, even the bad ones, for years, and I never picked this up. So, Bran, 2 questions. First, who does the killing in the movie theater in the second one in the beginning? And I know in the second one that was I think the third one was the brother and that crazy lady, right? The one that was in the Roseanne, right? I forget her name. Laura.
Yeah, she was in the second one.
That's 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. And I forget the actor's name, but he played Mickey. Interesting, you kind of bring that up. Funny thing about that is the Mickey character does every kill in the entire film, with the exception of Randy.
Oh shit! No, that does make a lot of sense because he was ripping them apart, pushing them around. I'm like, this woman's doing all that, and then there's that one scene where I guess David Arquette gets it stabbed in the back through the glass, that famous iconic scene. And I'm like, there's no way she did that.
I tell you, man, working in horror, knowing a couple of these people, it's just so freaky. When you remember them, in past tense, and you're like, you had some type of like weird experience with them. It
I
just
just
all of a
wish we
sudden
would've-
floods your brain like, oh god, that's
you're
like
not
Jamie
talking
Kennedy
about-
was on my Twitter DMing me some weird shit. I'm like, ugh. Like it
Because
just
what's his name was cool
like,
from
I'm
the first one.
Oh, Matthew Lillard's such
Broadway.
a cool dude.
Yeah, Lillard. Sorry.
Yeah, Matthew. Now you got me saying Broadway. Matthew Lillard's he's such a great dude. Like I met him one time at a Monster Mania. Like we were leaving, and he was looking at me, and I was looking at him. And he was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey." We just went up and hugged each other, like we met at an airport or something. Like it was so weird, but it was like so like normal.
And for those of you who also don't, you guys might know the audience might know Matthew Willard from another role, and that was his role as Shaggy in the early 2000 Scooby-Doo movies.
13 Ghosts.
Yep. SLC Punk.
SLC Punk, definitely. Yeah. Packers.
And Bran, can I just say, I fucking hate David Arquette, and you know why.
Why? Because he was the WCW
Yes,
World Heavyweight Champion?
Yes,
What?
fuck him.
Are you serious?
He was.
Wow.
He was.
I think
The
they were
power of the
promoting the
Arquettes.
Ready to Rumble.
They were.
Yeah.
He's so small. I mean, shit, give it to Rosanna at least.
I
Probably
think
could screw shit up.
I think he actually still wrestles on the
He does.
independents.
He does.
Wow.
So
Please put him in a match with New Jack. But you know what? We're not talking about wrestling today. All right, so Bran, your favorite franchise is obviously Scream. What is the favorite movie?
So the favorite movie, also in keeping with the whole slasher franchise or slasher subgenre, is it's my personal, not just my favorite horror movie. It's actually my favorite movie. We just had Wes Craven with the Scream franchise, so that kind of leaves only one person left. So John Carpenter's Halloween. I mean,
Classic.
for me, that's the blueprint. That's the archetype that everybody that has went out to make a slasher film has either knowingly or unknowingly utilized, because it's pretty much perfect. Even in its filmmaking, it's interesting how that movie turns flaws into a positive. So it's just I can't think of a better film for my favorite genre and subgenre. It's perfect. Everyone who's ever tried to make a film like this has used it as a template, and it's just
Even Rob
it is what it
Zombie?
is. No, actually, he did not, because that
I know,
I
that's
don't
why I
know what
brought
the
it
fuck
up.
that was.
I know.
That's
I know
the
that
first
you
Halloween?
hate that movie. Yeah, Rob Zombie
Yeah.
did. He did a remake of the first.
Yeah, I know.
Halloween, second
Yeah.
one.
The first and second one.
Yeah.
Okay. I know one of the what is it? The first Halloween, the original had like palm trees in it. Wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah,
there?
and they're supposed to be in the Midwest.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that Zombie didn't bring any of the fucking weird ass cult shit in with his
Yeah.
remake of the series.
I seriously can't watch many of his movies.
He
They're
brought in
much.
a ghost Sherry Moon with a white horse. That's worse? I'd rather have the cult.
I can tell Bran wants to just beat the living shit out of Rob Zombie.
Well, see, anytime I get too upset over that, I think about The Devil's Rejects and how good it is.
That's good.
It's possible for that man to have a great
yeah.
film under his belt, but the stars have to align.
I agree with that. I mean, House of a Thousand Corpses. I used to work at a video store back in the day. I was like 20. It was called Hollywood Video. They paid me like $6 an hour or shit, but they would be like, here, have some free DVDs. So I would get like House of a Thousand Corpses, the Saw series. I would get all this stuff. And I remember like that's when I came out, it was so huge because like, oh, Rob Zombie's going to direct. Like, look how he does his animations. It's going to be great. And it was. But then you can watch stuff in like you said, like some of the like Halloween 2 that he did, or even that one that he just did. It's not The Devil's Rejects. It's like the last one.
Yeah,
Three
and
from
the
Hell.
Yeah,
Three
from Hell. Me and Renee, we tried to watch it. She's like, turn that off. It was just too much.
Yeah, it wasn't a good way to finish that trilogy,
No.
honestly.
No,
No.
I think they should have kept it like them all dead, especially not having Captain Spaulding anymore. I love that dude. I mean, she got me.
They did have him. He died like a week or two into the shoot. So
really?
Yeah, so they did get him for maybe a scene or two, because the scene of him in prison is him shooting it, but he died right after that.
Oh, now that makes sense. Now looking back.
Yeah. So actually, Draven, going off that, I know that you said Saw. That is one of your movies, is it not?
Yes. I mean, when I was working at the store, I saw the first one, and like Bran, like I love Halloween, I love Freddy, and Hellraiser and all that. And it's hard to put all this stuff into certain genres, because there's horror, then there's horror comedy, that's great, and then horror drama, and then there's just horror like slash type of, messed up traps and shit that you have to figure out, that basically if you would do the directions, no one will die. And that I thought was cool. And the fact that he's not killing anybody was also cool. And the way that Jigsaw, spoiler, when, at the end of the first one, when he just gets up and he's like, yeah, that key was there, you're dumb fucks, and you just cut your leg off, and then he tries to get him, shoot him, and he just presses that button and zaps them. I was not prepared. I did not think that was going to happen.
I was just gonna say, he didn't kill anyone. He just created a scenario environment for them to kill themselves. But he didn't kill anyone. He just created the same environment for them to kill themselves.
Exactly.
That's all. He only created the environment and the situation, and kidnapped them as well. But he didn't kill anyone. He didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, he created the environment, but there's these great YouTube videos that break down every Saw movie. Like I have, the last one I didn't like, but 1 through 6, I would say are pretty good. The way the story takes it. And I've seen YouTube videos going through 1 through 6 and showing how you could have gotten out of that without dying.
Because looking at different camera angles on the film, exactly the same as being drugged and kidnapped and put in a torture chamber.
I mean, well, let's be honest. What he did is definitely not legal in any sense of the word.
No, not at all.
But obviously, as I said, being drugged out and thrown to a room and kidnapped, is that, you can figure out, is this the same as, using multiple angles in the film? Exactly the same.
I kind of personally feel that, like, Twisted Pictures, those guys were all friends. They were coming off that high of Paranormal Activity, same guys, Oren Pelly and all that. Talking about stuff that they are working on, and I think they all just wanted to one up each other. Like, well, check this out. And James Wan, was working on even that Alien TV show. What was it called? Renee, what's that Alien show we used to watch?
The?
With Dave Duchovny. What was it called? From
X-Files?
X-Files, yeah. James Wan.
Really?
I'm sorry. James Wan he wrote for X-Files. He did, and then he got involved with these guys, with Twisted, and then they did Saw, and I feel like they were so hungry for that the story was so rich with the first one, like, all right, you were down there, dude, I got you. You ain't gonna top that. But then in the second one, they totally did, because the girl, that Amanda, that survived, ended up being the apprentice, and I had zero idea that was going on. And because it did dawn onto me, though, in the second one, I'm like, dude, dude's dying of cancer. How did he knock these people out, drag them? It never occurred to me, though.
Yeah, and also, like, in the second one, the one issue I do have with the second one is half of it is shit we saw from the first one, but granted, it's from a different angle. Like, you see how the traps are set up and everything, but I don't know, like, it was well done, but I don't like to see shit I've already seen in the previous movie, you know what I mean?
I tell you what I enjoy about the Saw series, because I kind of, what I really enjoy is how you kill off the primary antagonist in 3 and make 5 more.
Yep.
Like, and it's not even like a zombie Jason or whatever scenario. Like, the dude's dead in the 3rd film, and there's 5 more, and he's been in every single one of them. So you gotta give props to that. Also, I mean, it's a fairly like we're talking about some of the horror, as far as like some of this stuff goes. It's still fairly newer, I guess, even though like the first one was what 2004. But like definitely one of the larger horror icons recently.
Of the past 20 years, definitely.
Yeah, it kind of blew up. My favorite out of all of them is actually 3, the unrated edition, because at parts I couldn't watch, and a lot of parts, like how you just said, didn't make sense before. But to see that, to see Jigsaw, to see him, the man, dying from his cancer, having a woman that has shotguns like pieces basically strapped to her chest, saying, yo, you're gonna fix me or you're gonna fucking die. And guess what? Your husband's here too, and he's gonna fucking die. Like, everyone's gonna die unless you do what and then like, Amanda, you better be nice to this woman. Why? Fuck her. She's just gonna die. Amanda, trust me on this. And like, again, threw me for a loop. I had no idea that it was a test for her. Like, as well. And I'm like, I thought that was a great one.
But like, I also love Jigsaw's backstory about why he's doing it.
Yes.
I can't quite put my finger on it, and I just watched the movie the other day, so that shows you my fucking.
It's kind of like a build up of a lot of things that happened to him. I know, like he lost his son,
Gideon.
Cancer. It was just like one thing after another for old dude, and he just kind of had enough.
You sort of feel bad for him at some point, but like,
you do.
Not bad enough that's like, okay, I can forgive you kidnapping motherfuckers and trying to kill them. It's all right.
Just because you don't believe that they appreciate their lives, like that's the one thing that I think makes him the most as an antagonist. Like, who made you the arbiter of enjoying and appreciating life?
No.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have thought about that, like how he's judging these people, but like how you said before, like with this kid Gideon, basically his wife was pregnant and she was working at some like methadone clinic, and Amanda was the lookout, and her boyfriend tried to go rob the place, but he just slammed the door open, hit her in the pregnant stomach, and she miscarried right there. So he kind of remembered her for later. I think most of those people did something in his past, like the doctor, Carrie Elwes. Also, spoiler, big apprentice for him. Would sew them all up, would sew him up. He would basically do the surgery that he would need to, like, here, put this square up someone's asshole, put the key up there and have him cut it out, because he was the doctor that said, you're going to die. So I feel like a lot of the people, maybe it wasn't I'm judge and jury, but I think because they wronged him in some way.
Yeah, I mean, like, at that point, he really has nothing to lose, does he? I mean, he knows he has terminal cancer. Like, there's no way he's going to survive this shit. So, in his mind, it's like, fuck it. What are the consequences? I'm going to die anyway.
And let's not forget who I would say is more of an antagonist in the series and ended up being like straight up the fucking Terminator later on, and that's Hoffman.
Oh, yeah.
Has to be mentioned when you talk about the Saw series. He was kind of a beast there towards the end.
And he surprised me too. I'm like, are you serious? With that evil face? I'm like, dude, this whole fucking time, he was there from what like Bran, like 2?
I think he came in 3, maybe?
It was 2 or 3, but
yeah, because he was talking to what's his name in the 2 that was looking for Detective Matthews, and they were there. He's like, oh, a guy, and he said to him, oh, a guy's on his deathbed did all this, and I'm like, damn, Hoffman's been there for a long time. So yeah, when they pulled that card, I was like, that was well pulled, because I wasn't preparing for that one either. And the fact that he was there, and basically the same thing, like, he was mad some dude killed his sister, and to get him back, he was going after Jigsaw, couldn't find him, and he's like, fuck it, I'll just kill him and say Saw did it, like, oh, he didn't get out of the trap in time. But Jigsaw knew, and he's like, you're intimidating me, or type of shit. Like this is like subpar, like, you know, compared to what I can do, type of thing. And I thought that was pretty cool, like, you know, like a Darth Vader thing.
Do we ever find out Jigsaw's name? It's been a while since I've seen the series. Keep that in mind. Like his actual name, or is he just
John Kramer?
Yeah, John Kramer.
Yeah,
that's right.
That makes so okay. Yeah, because usually I think of usually to remind myself of his name, I think of Kramer from Seinfeld. But you know, it didn't work this time. But
it's a whole different thing when he busts through your door.
Exactly. So Draven, that was your franchise. Now, what is the movie? Like your favorite movie?
Well, like I said, it's hard. I would say, you know, I have a tie of some favorite movies, but my favorite movie out of that franchise would be 3. If we were talking Hellraiser, it would be Bloodline.
All right, good old Pinhead. Oh fuck! Wait, I can say that, right? I'm not gonna get canceled.
Yeah. Oh, I thought, like, I had friends, like, when I was younger, I couldn't watch this stuff, man. I straight up couldn't. I would throw up. I thought it was too real. And when I was like in my late teens, I just got to a point of just being upset.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like depressed. And then I'm like, you know what? Since I'm depressed anyway, let me watch this shit finally. And it kind of made me feel better. And then I had a friend who loved Hellraiser. Like, he had statues of Pinhead. He was totally into it. He'd be like, yo, the band, the box, or Draven, the box. He'd have all these boxes, like, you know, Pinhead's box. Like, he was really into the series. And then I was like, fuck it, let me watch it. And even though I had a stomach through this stuff, it really did have a cool story to it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I would say those two for sure.
All right, so Renee.
Hey. So I feel like I have to do this. I don't know. Well, I'm going to go with the Toxic Avenger movies, and I'm going to basically say 2 and 3 are awful. So if you ever have never seen them, I would just skip those 2. You don't need to watch them. My favorite one out of the 3, besides like number 1, which kind of like scarred me for life, because I got to, unlike Draven here, I was exposed to horror movies since I was like 4. So I mean, I got to see all this stuff. Like, I got to watch this movie called Frankenhooker at age 8. Elvira was my hero as a kid. So like,
allow me to look at Frankenhooker 1 second.
Frankenhooker, it's great. It is a funny, awesome movie. So I like my horror comedies. Like, I do like my regular horrors, like my hauntings and sci-fi and stuff like that. But horror comedy, I don't know why, but like that's why I love Freddy Krueger so much, because he kills you and he has so much fun with it, you know. And like, I think out of all them, Dream Warrior would be my number 1. Dream Warriors. But I'm going to pick an actual Toxic Avenger movie, and I'm going to go with Citizen Toxie, which was made in the year 2000, which was like, what, 16 years after the original. So right off the bat, as soon as like the movie opens, you get Stan Lee basically is the narrator. So like, when people think trauma, they think, oh, this is just garbage. This is just, you know, junk. This is gross out horror humor, whatever. But if they knew how many people came from trauma, like South Park and stuff like that, like Trey Matt Parker got their first movie, Cannibal the Musical, was it, you know, it's based off a real thing, but they did it through trauma, and the first episode of South Park was supposed to be on that DVD. But however, right at that same time, Comedy Central happened to pick it up or something like that. So it wasn't on there, but they still got their start with Trauma. Trauma is the company ran by Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hertz, but Kaufman's like the head of the thing. Like, you see him all the time.
Yeah, he's a figurehead.
Yeah, he's a huge figurehead. He's a great guy too. So I work with him, so I'm definitely going to pick one of his films, because when I got to work with him like 7 years ago, like just in conventions and stuff like that, like learning about him and everything I got to learn about filmmaking, how hard it was, how thankless it was, just it was, and even after hearing all that, I was still like, I want to be in movies. I want to do this, you know? So with a low budget of $500,000, they made Citizen Toxie, which is like it's Toxic Avenger goes from like what would be Tromaville to I think it's called Amortville, through like some bad experiment by his real name is Joe Flyshaker. Unfortunately, he passed away not too long ago. He was a member of the Troma family, and we miss him. And his name is Lardass in the movie. Within the first 5 minutes, you already have some great cameos. We have obviously Stan Lee introduces the movie. We have Debbie Rochon, who's done a lot of Troma movies. She's done a lot of other horror movies. And she's the teacher for the School of Special Students. Then, see, this happened right after, and you know what's like, Troma movies are great and all, but like, and Lloyd does not give a shit, but he doesn't care. He's canceled anyway, right? Like, he's like, I don't care. So they have the Diaper Mafia, which if you know anything about around that time, there was a school event and basically it was so it's the Diaper Mafia who does all this stuff, and like basically you know, the two there were twins, the Sklar brothers. I don't know if you guys know who they are. They're comedians. They're the newscasters, and Lloyd likes to put in real social political like things inside of his films that most people don't notice because they're just watching it for like the gore, the boobs, like, you know, like the nudity, all the fun stuff. They have no idea that there's actually an underlying message. So when they're like talking about it, they're like, they're blaming it on this video game was recently released, this horror movie was recently released, and it was like, but not the news. It was like there was no violence in the news, you know. Like just saying like how stupid it is to blame video games and stuff like that. Lemmy Kilmister, he's in the movie within the first 5 minutes. He always was down to do a Troma movie. He did not even need to be paid to do it. He wanted just a bottle of Maker's Mark and a couple of Tromettes to talk to. That's it. That's all the guy asked for. And he would do any Troma film. So when you have Lemmy, then Lemmy is God. When you have Lemmy in your films, like, you know, you're doing something right. And then you have the mayor who shows up right after that, and that's Ron Jeremy.
No.
Yes, and he gets killed in the movie, but he's also in we just got done filming. We didn't just get done filming, but you know, it takes like 2.5 years for a movie to get released. Ron Jeremy happens to be in the same movie as me again.
Yeah, we got to meet him.
Yeah. I was about to say Renee did a movie with Ron Jeremy. Okay, I'm not thinking horror movie when I hear that.
No, most people don't, but he is in it. They are horror-esque movies. He's he's funny when you give him lines. You know?
Was he creepy?
On his own, not so much.
Was he creepy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I met him at the bar afterwards. We were doing some horror karaoke, and the Crypt Keeper, you know, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, he was there. He was doing karaoke.
The set of Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, like all the cast of Pet Cemetery were karaokeed, and Ari Lemon was playing. He was like the first Jason, like the kid Jason. Yeah.
21 Jump Street.
He's one of my friends. The guy from 21 Jump Street. What the hell is his name? Not Johnny Depp, obviously.
The other one.
The other one.
Guy.
The
oh
original.
my god. I have video of him like falling down drunk trying to karaoke Pearl Jam. Like it's great. Like
he can't sing.
If I can find these videos for you, I will. But it's hilarious. All right, back to the movie. We have James Gunn, who is known now for the Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel movies. Obviously, you have Stan Lee, who was really good friends with Lloyd Kaufman. So, you know, James got introduced to him. He's Dr. Flem, which is like a Stephen Hawking's character. Weird thing to say about James, because James worked with Troma for a while. I think he got mad or something at Lloyd and jacked off on his desk.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to
and
tell us that
left
story.
the load. Yeah, and Lloyd told me that he was like, yeah, James Gunn was kind of angry at me because I made him wear like a horse thing and walk up and down to like New York with it, carrying people and shit. I was like, wow.
Don't piss James off, clearly.
That's how I'm gonna quit my next job.
So James kills him off in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, like right away. He's like, "Fuck you," you know, like you're done. Hugh Hefner.
He also jerked off in his trailer then at Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean,
if that stays on your permanent record in Hollywood or whatever. Like,
well, when it comes to horror Hollywood, it doesn't. You know, that's one of those things that we get to know. But like regular Hollywood, they would like, you know, frown highly upon that. Like, did you ejaculate on a man's desk back in 2000? Maybe. But I don't know what you're talking about. I was a kid.
Yes, it was glorious.
Hugh Hefner Hugh Hefner's in the movie, but he asked to be cut out of it. After he saw it, which, you know, that's
Look who's talking.
Of all the people to ask to be cut out of it, Hugh Hefner, Eli Roth's in the movie.
That's my question. How the fuck do you offend Hugh Hefner so much?
I know. I mean, you have Ron Jeremy who works with Hugh, you know, like has to know Hugh pretty well. Like, I'm sure Lemmy kind of knew Hugh. Gotta have any number of the people that were in this movie. Just like he just got offended by it and decided, like, I'm not gonna be in this. Can you cut whatever I'm in out? And so they give him like one of those like "fu" sort of in the end credits. So Eli Roth's in the movie. I missed him. I didn't even realize he was in it until I just looked at the cast credits, and I'm like, oh shit, because I know Eli Roth came from Trauma. I just didn't know how. I didn't know he was an actor. Lloyd has his daughter Charlotte, which she's in almost everything, and the OG Toxic Avenger, he makes an appearance at the end. His name is Mark Targall. Corey Feldman's in the movie. And Lloyd hated having him because he called him that Hollywood asshole. Because there's a making of this movie that my friend did. My friend did the behind the scenes making of the Toxic Avenger, the Citizen Toxie, and he's like, where's the fuck is this fucking Hollywood asshole guy? He's like, oh, mister, I'm too good to show up on set on time. And it's like, and it's Corey Feldman. And I'm like,
tell me he said that to Corey Feldman's face.
He didn't. I guess because he, like, as soon as he got on set, I mean, I don't know what happened afterwards, but as soon as he got on set, he was like, oh, we already paid the asshole, so we're gonna have him. And Tiffany Shepis, I don't know if any of you guys know who she is. She does horror too. But in the meat of the movie, so Toxic gets sent into an alternate universe. He has to fight his doppelganger called the Noxic Avenger. Toxic Avenger was supposed to be played by the Gwar frontman singer, but he was on probation at the time, so somebody else had to play him. Which is interesting. So, like, yeah, a lot of this is like factoids more than it is anything. A lot of focus is on Toxie's wife. She's blind. She's always been blind, and she gets pregnant, and
just imagine having that thing's kids.
Well, here's she actually gets pregnant with twins. I'll get to that in a minute. Or maybe I can get to that now. So anyway, Lardass invents time travel, whatever, and the two worlds collide where Toxie has to try to get back to his regular world, and Noxic Avenger's taking advantage of Toxie's good deeds while Toxie's like frowned upon in the other world, and instead of her being blind, she's like got these messed up teeth in the other world. And she's like, are you gonna, the R word me like you normally do and stuff like that? Like, this movie has a lot of tropes in it, like Mel Brooks type tropes from Blazing Saddles that, like, can't be done today, but they still, like, they're there, they exist, like they, you got some old Jewish men making some funny movies. That's all I can say. So she does get pregnant. you know, he does get back to his world. He fights bad Toxie, and weirdly, there's another like hero, anti-hero, whatever. Sergeant Kabuki Man's there, who oddly, after I looked at him again, he looked like Billy from Saw, and I was like, wow, that's weird that he resembles him. Like, is there any kind of like thing from that? That's interesting. So there's a Sergeant Kabuki Man. He's a drunk now. He's like, because he had his own movie too, and I think he's gonna have a reboot.
He's drunk.
Yeah, he's like a drunk like asshole now. He doesn't care about crime or anything like that. He's just like he had enough or whatever. So like, you know, there's the gratuitous sexual scenes involving female and stuff like that. And so anyway, she does get pregnant with twins. She has the babies, plural. One of them is a Toxie, and one of them's a Sergeant Kabuki Man. And I think they fight each other. I think Toxie wins, and then out of nowhere, like the original guy who played Toxie comes out of some gooey shit, and it's like, we had like, it's Mark Torgal. Whoa, like let's bring him back. He's a cool guy. I'm not saying anything negative about Mark. But my friend Tony, he did the making of it. He did like the whole behind the scenes because everybody was complaining or acting like something on set, and then you'd see what Tony actually filmed them saying. Like the one girl, the main actress, she said, I'm comfortable with doing nudity. So then like she did it in the first beginning, and then she decided halfway through the movie, she's like, I'm not doing any nudity. They said, but you said you would. And she's like, I never said that. And then you see footage where Tony had recorded from the room that like she said she would do it, that, like it was all legit. There's a I guess a porn actress who beats one of the women in the head with her boob, because like it's like really heavy. It's sort of like Shani's, but it has implants in it.
Oh no! Oh no!
So it's long too. Holy shit!
Yeah, so she's like beating her, and the girl's like, the real girl was like, I have a migraine. She's like, because that thing is hard and it hurts. And the girl was complaining all about it. You know, not her, but the porn actress. She's like, I could be doing anything right now. I don't have to do this stupid movie for $500, blah 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 blah. And like, you know, so like we catch all these people saying bullshit. Like,
so Renee, what you're telling us is that Shani might have a future in film.
She loves Trauma, by the way. When I told her I was doing Trauma, she flipped. She was like, I love Lloyd Kaufman. I'm like, oh, that's so sad that you had to be a bitch to me.
Yeah.
I was like,
she bites her tongue
you
so
never
bad.
know who you're talking to. Like, so, you know, try not to be an asshole next time, and maybe you'll get to have your dreams come true. While Jason had nothing but negative shit to say. It was like, oh, those movies, oh, he's disgusting. I was like, yeah, well, there's a lot of movies you watch today that I'm pretty sure that without Lloyd, they wouldn't have been made. Like, who am I thinking of? Or the Evil Dead series.
Yeah, Ash Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah. Sam Raimi, he's totally down with that. Ted Raimi, of course, too. Totally, like, inspired by Trauma.
I want to come party.
The car thing is a Trauma thing.
Yeah, I want to come party with you guys now after hearing this shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's cool when you know stuff's open back up. Like it's great.
Look on our Twitter. We got pictures of me and her hanging out with Ted Raimi and
Eddie Furlong.
Yeah, at the conventions.
Like, all kinds of people. It's cool because like, you know, like you see these people your whole life on movies and stuff like that. And then you meet them, like, I'm awkward as shit. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I'll just bring up some friend we have in common. I'm like, hey, you're friends with my friend. And they're like, oh, yeah, he's cool. And, like, we'll segue into a conversation or something. Or I'm just really awkward, and I'm just like, hi. Like when I met Matthew Lillard, I was like, hey. He was like, I was just totally checking you out like a creeper. I'm like, that's cool. He's like, that I'm a creeper? I'm like, no. Like, not like that. Like, you're cool. Like, you're cool. Like, this is just
Speaking
weird.
of creepy shit, I guess we should go on to my movie now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. Actually, I want to talk to you after this because I want to hear some stories. No, so actually, my movie is also a horror comedy. I first fell in love with this movie when I was very young. It's Tales from the Hood. If you ever seen that with Clarence Williams,
Mm-hmm.
he plays a mortician. And the reason why I love that movie is, okay, first off, if I found one of my favorite songs in it, whenever Clarence Williams turns into Satan at the end, they play a song by Spice One in the background called Born to Die. Haven't heard it, look it up, great song. But just the way that they delivered they put the movie together with all these mini stories that are leading up. First off, the first problem that the guys ran into is they're going to a funeral home to buy drugs. Okay, that is 100% a sting. Most of the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, you deserve to die for that alone. But all these little stories, they just add up, and you keep thinking over the movie, what the fuck is this Mr. Sims doing here? Like, what is he doing? And it turns out, oh, he's Satan. Okay, that makes sense. Because he goes to the last coffins. He goes to show them the last coffins after all the movies. He opens it up, and they see themselves. Now,
That's right, I remember that.
Yeah, now the second and third one, the second one's all right because Clarence Williams retired from acting, so they got Tony Todd, aka Candyman,
I know Tony Todd.
to play. He played what Clarence Williams played. He was the mortician in the second one. Might have been in the third one. The third one just came out. I think it was like a week and a half ago. I don't know, but I've heard mixed reviews about it. But the second one's also good. But the thing is, though, with the structure of that movie and the fact that there's a lot of comedy thrown in there, but you can still classify it under the horror genre.
Mhm.
Like, I love movies. I guess we can call them tweener movies. They're in between genres.
Yeah.
It was just fucking great, and I love that movie to this day. I can sit down and watch it, no problem about it. But my favorite movie horror franchise is actually Friday the 13th. One of the reasons I also connected with this movie when I was young was my biological father, excuse me. His name was Jason. He passed away when I was younger. So that's fine. I'm used to it. But whenever he passed away, I kept on hearing that name, Jason. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna watch the movie. Keep in mind, I was probably around 10 or so. So I watched this movie, and you instantly connect, and I instantly have sort of a weird connection due to the name. And then I watched the movie. I remember me and my cousins were also watching Freddy vs. Jason whenever we were younger. And my cousins never watched horror movies, so they shat their pants on my couch.
For real? Oh.
Yeah, I know. And I'm just sitting there eating popcorn. And my mom looks over and is like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Huh?" I look down. She's like, "You two, bathroom, now." And I'm just there eating my popcorn, But man, I really hope that they get whatever they need fixed so Friday the 13th can come out with more movies. There's this dispute between the original director and the original writer right now over who has what. Just fucking fix the shit. I get it. They want their money, which is understandable.
Yeah. Well, with Freddy vs. Jason, it was two studios rivaling over it. Like, I think it was like already written like 15 years before it ever got made, or 10 years or something. Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of one of the Friday movies, you see Freddy's claws coming up from hell. His fucking finger claws. I don't know what to call them. The glove.
The glove.
Yeah. And he grabs Jason's mask, and he pulls it back. So they had teased that. Shit, that was before Jason Takes Manhattan.
Was it Jason X?
Goes to hell.
No, it was Jason Goes to Hell.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
so
Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had that plan for a long time, and not a lot of people know this. They did do a second one, but it wasn't in movie form. They did a Jason versus Freddy versus Ash Williams comic book.
I was thinking that comic book.
Oh yeah, I think it's seven annals, but it's a hell of a comic. And that's another one I love is Ash Williams in the Evil Dead series.
Ash rocks.
Whenever I was younger, I wanted to cut my hand off and put saws on my hand, but apparently my mother cared about my safety. So,
Did you watch
I
the
tried to
show?
make slick shoes.
I watched the show a little bit. Keep in mind, I'm 24. I'm not exactly the oldest thing in the world.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, like they just released the show, and it was funny. Like we were at a convention, and the girl that was the girl on the show was right next to us. She played.
And she had the puppets.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
but
had
he
the, she
doesn't
had the
know,
ash
but-
puppet, and she was taking pictures with the ash puppet. And
Mhm.
next to her was dude.
Linda Blair.
You know, yeah, you know Linda Blair, right? From
Oh yeah, yep.
yeah, and she is like so small, and I go up to her handler, I'll call her that,
And
and say, "Excuse me, handler, can I take a picture with Linda Blair? That'd be like great." And then she's like, "Oh, she's tired, needs to go home." Like, yeah, all right, but I'm like, I'm not. Usually, you gotta be like, I'm not like one of these people. Like, I work over here with trauma. I'll be here all weekend, and it didn't matter. Like half the time, people are really cool and they'll talk to you, but the other half, they tell you to go away.
Yeah, Lloyd makes me bring a movie every time I want to go meet somebody. He was like, "Here, give him one of these films," and I'm like, "Okay, Lloyd, I'll bring that film to John Cusack." He's like, "Well, I'm in his film." That's true, you are.
I'm in everybody's film. No, but
yeah, Lloyd is in everybody's movies.
Yeah, no, but
Hey,
I will-
Nightmare, I want to ask you something. Did you know when you watched the first Friday that was his mother?
Yeah, of course I know.
No, I mean, but were you able to figure it out early on? I mean,
was I able to figure it out early on? Yes, but I was still a bit surprised. Because the entire movie, I mean, it would make logical sense for it to be Jason, but you do see Jason at the end when he's the child.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
he's like in the well, she's what? She's in the burlap sack the whole time.
Yeah, I think she is. Like you see Jason come out of the lake at the end,
Yeah.
grab the person, take him underwater, but he's a child there. There's actually a really fun theory about this. There's actually a theory that Jason is still alive, but you know how he's mentally handicapped. So
Yes.
the theory is that his mother died and he's living near Camp Crystal Lake. And Tommy Jarvis is the closest thing he has to a friend in real life. Like Tommy comes by and visits Jason every now and then, but Jason takes that and he makes this weird imaginary world where he's this fucking psychotic serial killer. And they say that's the reason why Tommy Jarvis was able to beat him. Because even in Jason's own little world, he couldn't fathom killing what he saw as his best friend.
It'd be cool if Ari Lemon got to reprise that role too, but he's like 5'6" and like $150 maybe, and like he'd be cool as Jason.
Oh yeah, just give him some stilts. But I think this has gone on a little bit long, so I guess I'm gonna wrap this up. I just want to say, fuck you, Ben. Fuck you, Irish. I want to thank Renee and Darven to be on there. I want to thank Bran, who had to go do something.
Yes,
Much love to everybody out here. And I want to say thank you guys for coming on. Love to have you guys back on anytime. And we're going to end this right now.